right, so obviously for every win, there's an L. So who are two artists you think took big ass fucking L's in 2021?
Hands down, like the most obvious one for me was Travis.
100%.
Particularly and like what better? If you're gonna take an L, at least like it'd be better if it was earlier in the year potentially. But that's like the lowest note you could like end the year on, like a bunch of deaths. Fucking everyone hates you.
Yo, and
you're
side
about
note,
to release your album.
Yeah, forget the music part, but yeah, a bunch of deaths at his venue. But like, this is also where I hate social media. Like, dude, remember him and Virgil are like this. So for the fact that he didn't even feel comfortable to post shit about his friend passing because of the outlash it would get from the again, posting on social media doesn't matter. But again, he's a 26-year-old kid in today's society. It does matter. So like that had to make him feel away. Like, bro, I can't even fucking like mourn my friend because I'm like the number one hated person in America right now, which is fucking insane. So yeah. Like this is definitely a weird time for him.
And this is not to imply that like, you know, he's gonna go broke or like, you know, he's gonna lose all his fans, because he's still gonna be huge as fuck. But just like a bunch of other superstar artists who've had scandals and stuff, like it took a couple years for people to just kind of forget. There's always going to be those trolls who bring it up because it's funny or that it can make a good joke. But I don't see him like being able to comfortably come back out and like speak his mind and shit until like either these lawsuits and stuff are over with or like
they're
6 months
to like
past.
$2 billion in lawsuits right now.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. And I'm sure with all that going on, like he's probably not even allowed to say certain things.
Oh, I'm sure.
Do certain things. So that even makes it more worse, because even though it wasn't like he was out there in the mosh pit jumping on people and stuff, like if that's part of his shows and the experience, like he has to be 10 times more careful and it's going to be watered down. And he's probably like, it's not even worth it to do shit for the next like 6 months.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's one of mine too. So yeah, I agree with everything you said. But you know what's interesting, bro? It's that like, this is where you can tell the level in different artists. Because remember, DaBaby gets accused of whatever, right? Calling people, you know, AIDS and all that shit, like that wall shit. Like, again, dude, they remove him from all playlists. You know what I mean? Like, they don't add it, blah, blah, blah. Tory Lanez shit with Megan, dude, off every major playlist. Bro, I was on Rap Life today by Apple Music. Bro, Travis is all over that shit. You know what I mean? So like, there's like, yo, we'll cancel you, but we're not gonna cancel you. Like, you help us make money, so we're not gonna fuck this up for ourselves either. So it's funny how there's like levels to this shit, bro.
Yeah, because they like did the whole show basically.
They live streamed it.
Yeah, they live streamed it because my boy, he works on like one of the creative teams with all that stuff, and I think before the event even happened, we were just chatting, and I told him that I was a big fan of Travis, and he's like, oh shit, like on Thursday we're doing, or whatever day it was, he's like, we're doing the live stream of the show. And I'm sure that's part of why the organizers or whoever were reluctant to stop shit, because they're like, yo, like Apple and whoever else is already invested in this event, like we can't stop now. And that's why I'm like, there's no way Travis is like, yeah, fuck it, like let's have 10 bodies. Like anybody could have seen this coming, if you were that stupid to be like, yeah, fuck it, let's have dead bodies and I'll just do my next song.
Yeah, dude, I'm right there with you, man. All right, so Travis was an obvious one. We both got that one. So who else do you think, one more artist that took a massive L in 2021?
I think Pooh Shiesty was another one that came to mind. Just because it sounds like now he's gonna get serious time in jail or prison, whatever you want to call it.
And he was on a nice run as well. Like people were.
He was on a super nice run. Yeah, like if anything, he would have been like, I think MVP first half of the year or something.
Yeah, because I think we interviewed Just Adam in March, and then like even Just Adam was talking about how like you know he's really putting on and stuff right now. So yeah, that was fucking right at the beginning of the year too. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it just makes me sad that like, and almost conflicted internally, because we support a lot of these rappers and their music and this, and even if the stuff they rap about is negative, but then they go out and do it in public. And I think he allegedly like robbed a dude, like for sneakers and like weed, like they were supposed to buy it from him, and they ended up just robbing and shooting him in the ass or something.
Jesus.
And it led to more events, and I'm just like, how do we actively support these dudes and like say free them and stuff when they're just being reckless? And I get it, it comes from a different background where that shit's normal, probably didn't have guidance and everything, but at the same time it's crazy that we're just like literally handing millions of dollars to like people who grew up fucking robbing other people. It's just weird, a weird concept.
Yeah. And then to go back to last week's episode, then we're shocked with those same people fast forward 5 years later get killed. And it's like, but they were doing that shit before. We just didn't know them back then.
Yeah. And I think people, like, if you call out that like hypocrisy or whatever, some people, and it's usually like street people, are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, like this is regular shit, like you're square or whatever. But then it's always the OGs who are like, no, this shit is stupid, like you shouldn't have been doing that, like you had a future ahead of you, blah blah blah. So hopefully people learn from these mistakes, because I would love to have fucking 20 million and not have to rob somebody.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Again, like even like for those people who like fucked up 5 years ago, finally got put on, and then God, unfortunately got, tried by someone and shot at. It doesn't mean you can't grow, right? Like you can grow out of that shit, but you need to also understand, like, just because you grew out of it doesn't mean that people you were associating with back then did as well. So like, that's the thing. Like at some point there are consequences for previous actions, even if you moved on, right? That's why I always say, like, it's really fucked up that these guys end up dying like in the place they were like raised in, but like that's where the people who didn't move on with their lives are at. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you were somewhere else, they came to fucking find you in London. It's like, no, bro, you moved on with your life, but then chose to still be in the same area, which again is commendable. But I feel like there's also a naivety there that you're like, bro, like I probably shouldn't be here because like I've done some fucked up shit here too. I moved on with my life, but maybe they haven't.
Right. And I think that's where the ego comes in, and they would rather like risk their life than, or do some shit to prove something, than to have their like homeboy from back in the day be like, oh man, you switched up on us, like
you ain't shit,
you're not allowed here anymore and all that stuff. Like if anything, that would crush their soul versus doing a few years in jail,
which is crazy, man. Yeah, so hopefully fast forward to next year, we're not even talking about, I mean, it's sad that I wanted to say not that many deaths. You know what I mean? I wish it was like no deaths. Like obviously people pass away, it's part of life, but I would really hope in 2022 we're not talking about like someone being killed. Okay, so yours was Pooh Shiesty and Travis. So obviously for me, Travis as well. Bro, I'm gonna say someone. I'm gonna go with Polo G. So Polo G ended up dropping 2 albums, Hall of Fame and Hall of Fame 2.0, both super underwhelming. And like it just felt like going into 2021 that Polo G was going to be that artist to also take off. You know what I mean? Like he was part of the Juice WRLD thing. He had some great ass features. Like it felt like the momentum for him was building. And then and for anything else, it was just that the quality of the content wasn't there. You know what I mean? You didn't need, like, it just wasn't there. So that was surprising for me, bro, because I really felt like, again, he's a fucking kid. Like, people are not meant to always put out great bodies of work, but it just felt the way, like, there was almost like a mechanism now. You could probably tell pretty easily, this guy's going to be a thing for the next 4 or 5 years. And it kind of felt with Polo G like he was heading that direction. And I feel like he took like 5 steps back this year. And it wasn't because any like violence or anything, just like, bro, like your music wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I think I agree with like the bodies of work not hitting for me. Obviously it's subjective because I'm not like really
super, bro. Like, I'm sure
in tune with the trap.
That shit.
Yeah. And even like the suburban like white dudes who love like hood shit, I hear a lot of like, oh my god, Polo G's the GOAT type shit. For me, I'm not like the biggest fan of the trap melodic stuff, so that's why I'm not even like a fan of Dirk and those guys really. even though I know they're like objectively better than a lot of the newer guys out.
Yeah.
I actually really did like the Smooth Criminal song by Polo G. That was the first time where I was like, oh shit, this is pretty dope. Especially because that's a hard ass song to make modern.
Yeah, because everyone knows it. So like, yeah. And again, so kudos to him for even taking that chance.
So that was dope. I think if he takes more chances, at least for me, he could get a bit more mainstream attention. I don't think with where he is now, he will necessarily end up with like a radio hit if he even wants to do that. But
I think he does though, bro. I feel like he leans that way. I feel like because he had that so early on with those Juice WRLD features and Kid Laroi features, like it was a lot of mainstream stuff early on. So I feel like a lot of people just, again, a lot of people, you and I maybe just assumed like it'd be more of that. And like it was just like, you hear this album, you're like, it's kind of repetitive, bro. Like you're not really saying anything, you know what I mean? So that was, again, like, you know, did I go like, I'm not here today saying, oh my God, I can't believe Polo G, you know, fucked up. But like, it's just like, again, first looking at L's, like, you know, we can take the baby, but like, I don't really think he took an L. Like, I think his core fans still fuck with him. And like, so he lost some pop stuff. He'll probably come back around if he had more bangers, you know? So yeah, I was just from an artist perspective, I think Polo G took a pretty decent L this year.
Got it.
All right, brother.